Greetings everyone, this is Rambling Collector here, and we are back with another book review. This time we're going to be diving into the romance category with the book Long Live the Queen by self-published author Anna Michelle. Now, I'm sure you will have tuned in for my Halloween reviews and seen just some of the more intense, gripping horror stories that I've read. And after reading them, especially American Psycho, Jesus, I felt I needed a bit of a breather, something a little more light, a little more romantic to kind of take the edge off, Get me back into the reading spirit with something that isn't so grimdark and depressing. So, I thought that I would talk about this particular book, which, fun fact, while I did get to meet the author in person, I was not lucky enough to be able to get a signed edition of this book, which really breaks my heart. But overall, I'm just happy I finally got the chance to read it. With that being said, let's get started talking about it. So first up, my overall thoughts on this book. It was a very fast-paced and enjoyable read, providing the type of romance I enjoy the most. Relatable and human characters with a bit of spicy action and sweetness. Which definitely has become my personal favorite genre of romance as of late. Don't get me wrong, I've seen all the cookie-cutter romances with things like Hallmark movies and a few other like paperback romance novels and stuff, but there's just something so compelling about a good old-fashioned spicy romance mixed with sweetness. You know what I mean? It makes the characters stand out more. Now, I will say that the basic premise of this book, if you will allow me to read from it, is this. Raylene Westergaard just wants to save her clan of shifters. Raylene had been raised from birth to be a queen, to take care of her people, and make sure that they would continue on. A cruel twist of fate has made it so that under her reign, her people will never flourish or grow. She knows that the only true way to uphold the last promise she made to her father, to take care of their people, was to step down from her birthright and give up her crown. Alaric Preston just wants to live his quiet life. Alaric had never wanted to be anything more than a small-town, blue-collar working man, but fate had changed his life when he became a shifter. While he had maintained his small-town life, he had become the alpha of the pack of shifters that resided there. Now, another cruel twist of fate brings him something he wants even more than his quiet life, and something he knows he can't have. Now, just from that synopsis alone, it already had me hooked to want to learn more. And can I just say this? Raylene and Alaric are two main characters, and of course the main love interests, were definitely fun characters, each of them having to overcome their own character flaws while growing closer together. So Raylene for a while has lived in a very strict and very well-known prestigious pack known as the Westergaard pack, or clan as she prefers. They're very old, very noble, and she has reigned for a while after her father passed away. However, she has discovered, due to the fact that she is a beta, her clan can never produce children, because over the months of her reign that she's resided over the clan, nobody has born children, which is something you kind of need for your clan to survive. So, she finds Alaric and wants to propose an alliance to him, where he will take over as the new alpha, combining both of their packs and allowing her people to be able to bear children. And I want to say this, both of them have their own flaws. For instance, Alaric has a lot of scars from his past that I don't want to discuss too closely, namely because of the fact that would be major spoilers now, wouldn't it? But as for Raylene, one of the major character flaws that I noticed for her is that she has been so focused on protecting and providing for her own people that she has never once been able to live her own life. She's never once thought about anything that she wants to do. It's always been for the benefit of her people. And I love how, over the course of the two of them bonding, with Alaric having to come to terms with the fact that he is a leader, he's going to have to step up, more so because he's taking over an ancient clan like the Westergaards. But Raylene also learns to live life a little, to relax. And I will say, their growing romance over the course of the book was incredible. I gotta say, I loved their chemistry back and forth of how Raylene is like this proper lady who's always trying to do the right thing and be a good leader, And Alaric is just like, hey, sit back, grab a beer, chill out, let's go on a motorcycle ride. Hey, have you ever had a smoothie? And you know what the saddest thing is? Raylene had never even had a milkshake before meeting this guy. She'd been so focused on providing for her people that she had never once lived life. She'd never played pool. She never even had a milkshake. She never rode on a motorcycle. None of that. And that is what makes these two so well done. But honestly, one other thing I really enjoyed about this is that I really enjoyed the inclusion of the alpha, omega, and beta hierarchy situation, as well as the inclusion of shapeshifters in various clans or packs. Now you might be thinking this might be just a werewolf novel, but no. There's a lot of other people who has various beasts, such as polar bears, big cats, even foxes, or more, with Raylene herself actually being an Arctic fox, and Alaric being a giant black wolf. Oh boy. And I liked how their whole hierarchy was just like alphas, omegas, and of course betas, with betas having a major stigma around them, of them being about how they are born barren and are essentially outcasts, which I'm not going to try and spoil too much, but I will say at least this much. It was eventually disproven way later on with the big reveal. And I will say another point for this book's favor. The large font used in this book made it a much easier read, allowing for engaging and addictive reading that had me almost flying through the pages. Like, I'm not kidding when I say this, guys. I finished this thing within 3 days after finishing American Psycho. I dove into this thing with gusto and finished it in nearly 3 days. I just could not put this thing down, and the large font made it so much easier to do. Now, I will say that I did have one major complaint, and that was the ending. I'm not going to try and spoil too much, but I will say one major character is going to die, and I'm not going to say who, though. But with that being said, let's move on to random thoughts here. So one thing that I will say for random thoughts here, I really have been enjoying more of the shape-shifting wolf-style books that I've been finding lately. It's very rare nowadays that I find these, at least not that I'm aware of. I do remember the Animorphs series from when I was growing up, but I never really read them myself. But I will say some really good wolf-focused fiction that I've seen, whether werewolves or even shapeshifters. Two that come to mind off the top of my head are Albram's Curse, as well as Beyond the Veil. Those are just two main ones that come off the top of my head. Shapeshifting is another thing that I don't think I've seen too much of, that I'm aware of. Let me think on that for a second. Actually, no, I don't think I have. I don't really think I've ever seen a shapeshifting type, especially not like this, with like big cats and such. No, wait, I take it back. I have. In the Game of Thrones series, but that wasn't really shapeshifting so much as what they called warging, where a person would be able to possess the body of an animal, or even another human. And I've got to say, I'm kind of keen to want to check out more shape-shifting romances like this, because this one was really, really good. Like, super good. Anyways, another complaint that I didn't want to bring up in the overall thoughts, though. So the copy I got, apparently, was actually incomplete, or at least a bad copy. And the funny thing is, I actually got in touch with the author, Anna Michelle, who was super nice, and has stated they are willing to send me another copy, albeit that is like fully edited and in much better print. And I gotta say, I am extremely grateful to them for that, and because I really enjoyed this story, and I did not want to knock off any more points than necessary, because while the ending itself I did not enjoy too much, and it kind of did come out of left field, like a right hook kind of feel, I will say everything else was amazing. And hell, here's another thing I've noticed. Some self-published authors, they don't always have the best chances to like check for spelling or proofreading and everything like that, because they are so desperately wanting to get this story out of their heads and onto paper that sometimes all the special ingredients like fonting or spelling or anything like that sometimes goes out the window. But you know what? I think that adds to the charm of the story, because to them, they are so focused on the creative process of making this story that to them, all the editing comes right after, and even then, they might just gloss over it or whatnot. But in my personal opinion, that is what makes it really good, because you know you're going to be in for a good story regardless. And I see this a lot with self-published authors, and I'm going to say this right now. Guys, if you have a great story that you want to get out there, feel free to do so. Don't make it a chore for yourself by trying to make it perfect. Just write an amazing story. And if people have a problem with editing and stuff, that's on them because they are English perfectionists and such. But to me, even like the misspellings or bad fonting sometimes did not detract from how well done the story was. I thoroughly enjoyed it, despite the mistakes. And I wish a lot more people would give more self-published authors a chance, because these guys are making it as acts of passion. And I really believe they are always worth the chance. And as I told a lot of people, some of the best stories in movies or even music that you will ever see are the ones that are rarely ever talked about. And that is why they are always worth giving a chance to. Anyways, I'm sorry, I kind of went off on a tangent there. I completely apologize. With that being said, let's move on to the final score. So, the overall score I would give Long Live the Queen would be a solid 8 out of 10. Like I said, the ending did detract a couple of points for me, but I'm not going to detract anymore simply because of a bad copy. The author has already contacted me about this. They are sending me another copy, and I am eternally grateful to them for that. So overall, if you guys are looking for a really cool like shapeshifter romance, or if you're just in the mood for something sweet but also spicy, I cannot recommend Long Live the Queen by Anna Michelle enough. And I'm definitely going to have to pick up the sequel sometime, namely because I want to see what happens after the ending. I just want to know more, you know? But overall, I'm really glad I've been picking up more like wolf-based books and stuff like that, or Pax or Alpha Omega. I love stuff like this. It is absolutely amazing. And quite frankly, you guys, I cannot recommend this enough. But if you are curious to see some of the other self-published authors I have covered in the past, I will leave a link to that playlist here at the end of the video. Or if you just want to see some of the other books that I've covered, both classic and new, or somewhere in the middle, please feel free to click the link to the Book Rambles playlist that you will see here as well. And if you did like this video, feel free to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, or subscribe if you're interested for more. Once again, you guys, thank you so much for listening. It really means a lot if you stuck by to the end of this video. This is Rambling Collector, signing off for now. Have a great day, fellow readers. I'll see you all in the next video.